what appears to be a fourth time was actually could cause the ballots could cause there to be a net increase in the total number of undervote, which would undercut that very point.
But that was, in fact, the very thing that the court had ordered us to do, or allowed us to do, in previous cases. We were supposed to run it through the machine to pull out the undervote. Did you know that, sir?
Excuse me, counsel. I objected after this testimony, Your Honor.
I sustain the objection.
Sir, do you know any other way to pull out the undervote other than to put it through the machine or to hand count it to find out which one's the undervotes?
I don't know if there's any other way.
And you would leave that to Mr. Leahy to figure that out, right?
I thought we were operating under the Judge Saul's order that day, not the discretion of the supervisor's office.
The supervisor does have discretion to handle the ballots, to put them in a way that would be appropriate for the court to use, wouldn't it?
I sustain the objection.
No,
Rephrase. All right.
I have no further questions.
All right. May this witness stand down and be excused without objection. Call the next witness. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Governor George W. Bush and Dick Cheney call as their last witness, Shirley King.
Ask her to come forward and be sworn.
She's just coming in from the hall, Your Honor.
Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
filed with the court previously is a stipulation of the facts concerning the contest as it relates to Nassau County. Ms. King is the supervisor of elections in Nassau County. We don't believe that there's any issue of fact that aren't covered in this stipulation, and that's why we entered into it.
Was this a stipulation intended to cover the entire case between counsel for Nassau County?
That's the way Mr. Mullen and I approached it.
Mr. Mullen.
We didn't sign the stipulation, Your Honor. That's
Sir? You didn't sign the stipulation?
no. Nobody from George W. Bush's camp signed the stipulation. So
Oh, this is with the supervisor of elections.
right, and
And the canvassing board's attorney.
yeah. And if they want to sign
all
a
right.
stipulation, that's fine. But
Yeah, that's fine. All right, I understand now. No, they're not bound. The other parties are not bound by.
I'm sorry,
No, the
I
secretary.
would have tried to bind them, but they probably wouldn't have been bound anyway.
we absolutely would not have.
All right, let's proceed.
That's why we weren't even invited.
Where is the
Shirley
next
King, Your
witness?
Honor.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the evidence you shall give with this issue shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Please be seated. You may proceed.
All set?
I'll see it.
You're really gonna, I'm sorry, the microphone is, you're gonna have to move it forward a little bit, please. And sort of get fairly close. What is your name, please?
Shirley N. King,
And where do you live, Ms. King?
on Amelia Island, Nassau County.
That's up in the northeast part of the state, just north of Jacksonville.
Yes, sir.
At the time of the November 7th election, did you have any official position with regard to the election?
Yes, I'm the supervisor of elections.
How long had you, for what county were you supervisor of elections?
Nassau County.
Ms. King, how long had you been supervisor of elections for Nassau County?
For 20 years.
About how many elections had you handled in your capacity as supervisor of elections up there?
Quite a few, probably 35 to 40 at least. More
And
than that.
again, I know it's difficult, but if you could just speak up a tad, that would be good. Had you had any problems in the past with any elections up there?
No, sir, I haven't.
Now let's take a look at the other members of the canvassing board that night of November 7th, 2000. Who were the other two members?
Our county judge,
And what was his name, please?
Robert Williams.
Do you know how long he'd been a county judge up there?
Let's get oriented. That's over there. We're already up.
Over there. Okay. Over there. You know how long you've been a judge? It doesn't make a great deal of difference.
I'm not sure, but I think he and I have worked together for 16 years or more.
And so there's you, there's Judge Williams, and who's the third member of the canvassing board that night?
Dave Howard. David Howard.
Now, let's turn to the events of the 7th and the 8th. Let's first take a look at Exhibit 529, which is on your monitor and on the big screen. Are those the three kinds of ballots that were used in the election that night, Ms. King?
Yes.
Now, we see we've got A and B and C.
Yes.
Now, the A ballots have a red stripe down the side. How come?
That's to identify one ballot that the presidential race is on, and it also tells us exactly how many electors voted in that particular election.
Now, for how long over there in Nassau County have you had the presidential election ballots have a red stripe down the side?
For quite some time, but not always.
Now, that evening on November 7th, did you run the red A ballots, do a machine run of the red A ballots separately from the other ballots, the B and C ballots we see up there?
No, sir, not on election night, the 7th.
Okay, did you, on election night, did you run all the ballots together through your machines?
Yes, sir.
Now, on November 8th, the next day, did you do a machine recount, please?
Yes, sir.
Now, when you did the machine recount, would you tell the court how you did it?
Well, the cards are placed in what we call a transport case, and they are put just one right beside the other. And in doing so, sometimes the red is up and sometimes it's down.
Now, when you say the red is up and sometimes down, you're saying sometimes when you take all these cards and you put them in the case, sometimes the red stripe is on the top side and sometimes it's on the down side.
Yes, sir. Yes,
now,
sir.
In this particular election, were you deprived of the regular person that worked with you so closely of all these years?
Yes, sir. Most certainly was.
And who was that?
Judy Tyner.
Now, if we look here under Supervisor of Election, we see Judy A. Tyner, a Democratic candidate, right?
Yes, sir.
Were you going to retire after?
Yes, sir.
And have you, in fact, retired now?
No, sir, not until December the 31st at midnight.
Sounds like you wish it was last December 31st. In any event, what kinds of duties had Ms. Judy A. Tyner done for you in past elections, please?
She's the assistant supervisor, and she's been my right arm for many years, 10 to be exact.
Now, why is it that you didn't have the benefit of her experience on this particular Nassau County election?
Because she is a candidate, and really and truly she is supposed to step down, especially if she is going to be on the ballot if she's on the ballot the night they're actually tabulating the votes for that candidate.
Now, I've met with you, haven't I, and with your lawyer, Mr. Mike Madigan, who's Mullen, I'm sorry, handsome gentleman sitting here at the table with a red tie.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir, I agree.
And I'm going to put a document on the screen which is a demonstrative, Your Honor, and we'll switch over here if we can, Bill. Is that the data that you gave me in the presence of your counsel?
Yes. Yes.
It says, and this is my handwriting for the record, will be a demonstrative, Your Honor. On November 7th, you did a machine recount of the A ballots, and you told me you got 25,387, right?
Yes, sir.
And then the next morning, you did the full machine recount of the A ballots, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, Ms. King, did you just, from all of the ballots that you had stored in the boxes, did you just sort out and attempt to pick out the red striped A ballots?
Yes, sir.
And when you ran those A ballots, those presidential ballots, what total did you get?
On the day of the 7th, on the day of the 8th. On the day of the 8th, we got 25,169
Now, on the 8th,
on the 8th.
which of the two counts, number 1 or number 2, did you certify up to the state?
Tricky question. I'm not sure I'm following you. I have certified both the 7th and the 8th. The question again?
The question is, on the 8th, after you did the machine recount here, which of these two did you certify on that day?
On the 8th, I certified the automatic recount.
And when was it that for the first time you became personally aware of this discrepancy between the machine recount of VA ballots